Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amity Gilmour and this is my life. And this is a new series called Jammie Chats. It is officially now a series because I just have so much to say. And I've realized that I can either keep that inside or I can share a lot of different stuff. And I feel like when I open my mouth, sometimes people like shut it, and then other times when I open my mouth, people are like, you should talk more. So like, we'll see how this goes. But today's first episode, I'm talking all about why you shouldn't give up on the things you love, even when you think it's game over. Now, first, I want to acknowledge that everybody's conditions in life and everybody's abilities are very different. This is just my experience and I want to encourage those who can relate. So just a recap of what I've already talked about on my channel multiple times, but especially if you're new here, I will continue to explain. My name's Amity Gilmour. I'm a singer-songwriter. I also struggle with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and in 2024, 2 years ago, I decided to chase my number one dream of being a singer-songwriter, even though I have been very unwell with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome from probably about when I was 19 was when things started to get really hard, to the point where I went and got help. But growing up as a teenager and little girl, and also things at 11 months old, I always had health things that we just ignored. I had chest pain as a kid. I was just crying heaps as a baby, and at 11 months old I went and got checked out, was diagnosed with low muscle tone, which is a very small part of the puzzle. I was dislocating joints since I was 10 years old. So obviously this has been going on for a long time, but I always wanted to be a singer-songwriter. I just didn't chase it full on after I finished school because I had a very realistic way of looking at things. I needed a plan A first, and unfortunately I got really sick and that plan A was taken from me. And that plan A was basically just a usual 9-to-5 job. And so I ended up through saving up for my medical bills through busking, coming back to my love of music, reaching out to a producer, and then being taken on by that same said producer. I've now been working with him for 3 years. This is the third year. The first official year was 2024. Things were going really well. Things were so cool. I was so excited. I was like, woo! I released a song that year in November that did very well, considering it was my second official song only. And then the next year I released one song and then was like, that's it for an entire year. We were focused on the behind the scenes. So this is last year in 2025. And I thought that not only my dreams were over, but I thought my life was potentially over as well, which is really deep. And I won't get too much into the specifics because I've already talked about it quite a bit on my channel. So I will link a video up there you can look at to get more of the in-depth, I guess, overview of everything, because it's just really complicated. But to summarize it, I was getting very bad cerebral cardiovascular issues that have been very, very difficult. I am on treatment. The treatment has made things a little bit more better. However, things are starting to ramp up again. I am trying my hardest to stay positive, but it is extremely disheartening at times when you've been doing so well and you start to see things getting bad again. But that being said, I want to celebrate the wins this video because we are now 1 week, 7 days from me releasing my song, Light Up My Heart, and 7 days post-release, it has already been played on the radio station 157 times. And what's even crazier is that is from data that is 2 days behind, meaning that is 5 days post-release. That is, I just cannot The streaming is a lot lower for this song. It's definitely done a lot better on radio than it has on streaming. I feel like streaming has not been very much for this release. However, I do think I know why. I think I teased this song a little too long. And so a lot of people were just like, I'm over it already. I think I'm not putting words in people's mouth, but I'm thinking about myself as a viewer or listener to other people's music. If I was following someone who was streaming a song for 3 months straight before releasing it, I probably wouldn't be too into the song once it was released. That's my fault. That is okay. I was not supposed to release it earlier, but I just was too keen to get back into the swing of things. So my next song you will not be listening to or hearing on this channel until a month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks before. I'm not going to kill it before it's out. Radio, however, has been probably the best it's been for any other release. It has been. What do I mean? It has been the best ever. And I think it's just, this release is a very meaningful release for me. The song itself is probably the least meaningful song that I have released officially. It is not really meant to be a song that is more deep reflection. It's meant to be more of a fun song or a relatable song, but not one that talks about a lot of the hard, dark, deep stuff that my other releases have talked about. This song has more so focused on just something that a lot of us women go through, and that is waiting for, I guess, the perfect guy, whatever you want to call it. Not that any guy is perfect, but you know what I mean. I am so grateful for how it has been received, especially by radio. And I don't have the words, but what has been so special about this release is I wasn't even sure if I was going to release another song after Cry. I had written all these songs which haven't been released yet, but we will be releasing either this year or in the coming years. We definitely have songs we're releasing this year. We have 3 more songs we're releasing by the end of the year, which I am really excited about. I just cannot wait for you guys to hear them. But I had all these songs and I just remember thinking, what if no one ever gets to hear them? What if I don't get to continue on doing this right at the beginning of it all? And that was something I really had to struggle with, because I think I am extremely ambitious, and I always have been. And to be extremely ambitious while also extremely sick can be really difficult, because there are times when I'm trying to do all these things that I really want to do, but I'm just physically not able to even lift a finger. Sometimes I can't get out of bed, I can't do those things, and that's hard. And as much as I'm trying to do what I can to continue the things that I love, it's not easy. And I thought I wasn't going to make it to this year, and I have. And I'm so thankful for that, because I wasn't the only one. So many people, including health professionals and some of my medical team, weren't really sure. And then I had one doctor last year who just completely, no filter, but completely just came out and was like, basically just told me that, yeah, I'm at risk of dying because of my cerebral vasospasms. And so it's really hard, because I tried so hard to continue to do the things I loved last year, and I feel like I couldn't do them. And although I was doing things in the background, I was recording music behind the mirror there in the little closet where I do music and stuff. I was recording music there, but no one saw I wasn't vlogging, and at the same time I wasn't doing it to the rate I wanted to. I was like, oh, if I really want to get my music out there or work towards my career, I need so much more energy than I have right now. That's what I was thinking last year. And then this year, I think having that release as my first release back into things after such a horrendously horrific year. Let's just put it at that. Was so meaningful because I don't know, I don't have the words. I also want to share the story that happened in the lead up to the release. So I went to a music industry conference. It was an extremely incredible opportunity to be invited. It was at APRAMCOS in the city, and I was there and I was so shy. I am the biggest extrovert, but put me in a room full of some of the most important people in the music industry in Australia, particularly for, I guess, the Christian genre. I was so shy. I was so introverted. I have never seen myself introverted before, and this was a new experience. And I think I realized how much it felt like God had put me on this track, because I wasn't even gonna do music. I was like, no, I've got to find another. I was thinking about other careers I could do. For a moment I thought about, you know, doing teaching. Sometimes maybe I want to do nursing, and then I realized I hated blood and needles. I was like, why would I do that? I thought about all these different career paths. I couldn't feel content with any of them. The only thing that I could see myself doing was music. Nothing else seemed right to me, but I still tried to find something, and I got sick. And here's where we end up years later. I'm at this conference, and in particular, 2020 was the year I was diagnosed with gastroparesis, which, if you don't know, gastroparesis it basically means a paralyzed stomach. That is the Greek or Latin or Greek, whatever, interpretation of gastroparesis is paralyzed stomach. And it's a month before I was diagnosed. We had suspected that was what I had, so my GP arranged for me to go down to Sydney and see a specialist. I was living with my friends in Sydney just in case I needed to go to hospital, and the hospital system was a bit more, I guess, more resourced here. And the whole time I was just sleeping, and you can see my bones because they were sticking out, and I was fast asleep. I would sleep the days away. My friends, I'm like a massive extrovert. I love going out, but I was just so tired that I lost enjoyment in going out. I just couldn't go out. I withdrew from society. I couldn't stand up in the shower without fainting. I was just depressed, and I just had no energy. I was throwing up all the time. And Delta Goodrum released a song called Paralyzed. And it was written about when she lost her voice and wasn't able to speak wasn't able to sing or articulate properly. And she had to relearn how to do that. And she wrote this song called Paralyzed. And I remember for that entire month, I was just listening to it on repeat. And then I remember we're at the conference and we're told that there's this guest artist. This is 4 years later, 6 years down the track. We're told that there's this guest that's gonna come. You don't know who it is, but it's crazy, believe me. And when you're at this conference in a room with some pretty big people, you know it's gonna be crazy when they say that, because it's already crazy. Who are you gonna bring out? And then Delta Goodrum comes out, and at that minute, I just started bawling my eyes out, because it was like, I just remember listening to that song thinking, one day, if I survive this, I'll write a song and release it, and I'll release a song and I'll be able to share it with the world. Also, fun fact, in that month at my friend's place, I wrote pieces then. And there's somewhere in my prayer journal where I wrote, Lord, just help me finish the song at least, because priorities, right? And she walks out at the conference and I'm just bawling, and she's singing these two songs. One of the ones that she's singing at Eurovision, and then another song, and I couldn't deal. I was in tears. And after it finished, we were told to go back to the conference room, because they were gonna do, I think that's when they were gonna do a podcasting, a live podcast that we we're gonna watch about AI and the music industry space. And as I was walking to the conference room, I stopped and I said, and I'm in tears at this point, so teary, such a mess. And I went up to her and I said, I just want to say, and then she grabbed my hands and she's like holding my hand. She's like, hey, and I was like, hey, so you released a song in 2020 when you lost your voice. And she's like, yes, Paralyzed. And I was like, that song really got me through a time where I thought I was dying. And she was like, oh, I don't even remember what she said after that. She was just something along the lines of, I don't know, oh, thank you so much for sharing, or something like that. I don't even remember, but I just remember that, and I was just like, and then that was just insane. I was just in tears. I was ugly cry. And then I had to just full on calm down and pretend that didn't happen, because that was so embarrassing, because I had to be professional. It was more like, I want to be professional and I don't want to be crazy or anything like that. So that was insane. I couldn't believe that. Obviously, I guess what I want to say is, if you have a dream or an aspiration's not the right word. That's a different thing. Aspirations? No, aspiring. Let's just, you know what I'm trying to say. If you have things that you want to do and you feel like you can't do them because things are hard, sometimes I don't want to say like just push and do it. Also, you want to be careful with your health, but at the same time, if you really want it that bad, or if you really feel like you're called to that in life, then push through it and try and do what you can. I know that not everyone who watches my channel is a Christian, but for those who are, I believe that God gives us the strength and the ability to be able to push through and do the things that He's called us to do. And God has given me my voice. He has given me my love for music and my ability to write songs that are able to, I guess, touch people in different ways. And so that gift, I don't want to keep inside of me. I want to share that with as many people as I possibly can, because I don't want to waste it at all. I just want to share it, because I've already seen little footprints of how God has used my story and everything that I've been through and my music to be able to, I guess, encourage others. And I don't know the full story, and I don't think I ever will know the full story. I don't think we will ever know the full story of how much God has used us and the things that we're able to do, but you just never know. You can be given small snippets, and I definitely have been given small snippets that I've seen, or in ways that people have come up to me and told me things, and some of you guys have commented on my videos or my music, and you've shared different things, or you've private messaged me. And those things, I just want to say, I'm not the best at texting back. I will text back, but when I form words, I don't always have the words to be able to text people back something that's as appreciative, because I just feel like I don't have the words, because I'm so grateful and so appreciative that I just don't know how to word it properly. So if I do text and it comes across as, oh, I expected more, I don't know, I feel bad, because when I'm texting, it sounds wrong. Oh no, I'm trying to show how appreciative I am. I don't want to be over corny, oh my god, oh my gosh. Or at the same time, I don't want to be under, like, oh, thank you so much, so sweet, and then that's it. I'm trying, but I think you guys, I haven't had anyone who said that any of my messages have been to the point. I'm just terrible at texting, but I do read your messages, and I do feel greatly encouraged by all of them, to the point that I just don't text back in full sentences of I don't know, because I just don't have the words, because I'm overly flattered or encouraged by what you have said, and that is why sometimes I don't know how to write the words. I will still write something, but I always feel like it under delivers how I'm actually feeling inside. But just know that a lot of the things that you guys tell me about how my music has been able to help you in whatever area of life, that is something that I don't take lightly. I am strongly encouraged by it, and I wish I had the right words to express the exact ways in which I feel so strongly encouraged, but I try. I didn't think I was going to see this release, and I did. And now I will continue to do as many releases as God allows me. But if I don't get to do another release, again, I just have to be okay with that. I'd love to be here and admit, I'd love to be able to say and truthfully that, oh, if God takes this all away, then I'll be so okay, and that's because I know He knows what's best. And it's like, yes, I know He knows what's best, but I'm still not going to be okay. I'd love to say I would be okay, but I just love music so much and releasing songs so much. It will be something that will be very difficult for me to adjust to and accept. But I know that I will release as many songs as God allows and as God has planned, and no more and no less. Anyway, I just want to share that. And if you feel like you're going through something, whether it be physical health, mental health, whether it be the struggles like relationship struggles, family struggles, bullying at school, whatever it is, whether it's disability, I just want to encourage you that you have the ability to touch people's lives with your story and encourage so many people. And if you have a dream and you have a calling, my prayer is that you will be able to pursue that, and that you'll be able to pursue those heart's desires, and that no matter how hard it gets and how many times you feel like you can't do it anymore because your mental health is failing, your relationships are holding you back, whatever it is, I just want to encourage you guys that whatever is to happen is meant to happen. And if you're given a gift, most of the time that gift is there to be shared with others, to encourage others. And it's going to be really hard to keep going at times, but if you keep going, you might get to a point where you look back and you think, wow, God got me here to where I am. I've encouraged so many people, and I'm doing the thing that I love and that has been placed in my heart. And maybe, which is the craziest part of all, you might realize that you are the person you are today because of the struggles you have been through in your life, to the point where you may even agree with me that if you were given a chance to go back and change those things, you may not change them. And call me crazy, call me weird, but I would not change what happened last year. I don't know, I just feel like I wouldn't. I'm glad I'm out of the worst of it, thank goodness. I wouldn't go through it again unless I had to, and then I would go through it begrudgingly, trust me. But I wouldn't change it because of what God has done with it. Anyway, I've talked enough, so I'm gonna go to bed now. But I hope you enjoyed this new series where I basically just am in my pajamas. I made these pajamas, by the way. Look how cute they are. Wait, they come with pants as well. Wait, you can't see, but anyway, love you guys. Bye.